for those of you on the call will get a copy of the recording for after to refer back to. And so we'll go ahead and officially start. Okay, first things first, let's go ahead. I'm going to pull up some of our agenda for today. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. All right, guys. So yeah, we did a poll in JK, and we found most people are struggling with sales. Second is mindset, motivation, and of course backlinking, map pack, and scaling. So we're going to be going in these in order for the most part, starting with sales, some really great sales techniques for people just starting out and those who are working on bigger clients all across the board. We're going to get into a lot of the mindset stuff here. And then after that, we're going to get into some hard, fast tactics to be able to make you a ranking machine, ultimately, to be able to build new lead gen properties, to have the confidence to know what you're doing, to be not getting penalties and ranking quickly while finding the best niches and keywords to do so. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into things. All right. So if you could just mute out your line, make sure you're muted, and try to hold all questions for the end. I will here and there do pauses after large amounts of information to allow time for a little bit of Q&A, but we'll save most of it for the end. So definitely make sure to write down your questions as they come up for you. Maybe get a Google Docs sheet open like this for notes on this call. You will also get a copy of this, and this will be able to be your one-page sheet of notes with resources, etc., for you to be able to refer back to whenever you're unsure, and just something tangible you'll be able to walk away from this webinar with. Okay, so awesome, great guys. I'm so glad you could make it. We have a lot to cover, so let's just go ahead and dive right in. So first things first, selling a lead gen site, right? When it comes to your lead gen site, ultimately what we want to do is we want to get you, paid what you're worth, right? We want to get you the most value from the leads you're sending to the business owner. So here's a really great formula that I've been using for years to be able to determine the value of a lead gen property site. And the way we do this is it's the number of leads that you're sending the business owner each month, the emails and the calls. Let's just, for easy numbers, we're just going to say it's 100. Their closing rate, which you want to ask them, or you want to do some research on the industry to find out what the closing rate is for that industry. Of course, this will be a variable determinant upon your business owner's closing abilities too, their sales skills, right? This, of course, this formula here will equal the number of deals closed each month. We can take the average deal size, which again, we usually get from them. The nice thing about getting the numbers from them a little bit is that it's kind of irrefutable proof. It's like, well, you told me this and this, right? So how can that be wrong? And right, this isn't a perfect formula, right? This is a great guide to help you to be able to show them, hey, this is what the value of the site is worth. So we take the average deal size, let's just say 500 in this case. The number of deals closed is times that is the client revenue that they're making each month before expenses. For this example, it came out to 25,000. So the revenue times your fee that you decide to be, whether it's 10%, 20%, 30%, will get your revenue that you're getting. Now, some niches will be like monthly, like they onboard a client and then they have a LTR, lifetime revenue for a client. Like say like maid services, you don't want to just get credit for the closed lead once when it's a customer that goes on for 9 months or something. You want to factor that into this equation so that you're maximizing the value for your lead gen property. Okay. And ultimately you'll come up with your revenue. So take this Use it as you will. It's a great resource. Now, before we jump into hard, fast sales, I did just want to come in here to Yellow Pages is a great resource for for not only finding business owners, but also finding niches. So you can start to type in different words here or different letters, and you can see we'll get all these different categories of niches that come up. I'm going to go ahead and just please make sure you're mute if you're just hopped in. It's a little distracting, some of the background noise. Here, let me go ahead and mute for you. Okay, great. Yeah, so if you're ever, struggling to find niches, you can come in here and start to be able to get an idea. But also, you could type in your niche and your city, and we got a running list of leads to call to send these leads from the lead gen site to. And we can see who is already paying for ads, so they're open to paying for digital marketing services. And we can see those who don't have websites too. Right here, these two don't have websites, so that's pretty interesting. And so sales. In the sale, you are the bridge between hell, where they're currently at, and heaven, where they want to be, where they want to get to. And you're the bridge between there. So when you're speaking with the business owner, maybe most likely not the first time, and these are some pretty high level advanced sales tactics that may not be necessary in every scenario. In a lot of cases, you'll be able to just run through the formula with them, and they'll be like, well, I see the value in that. Yep. But if you follow it up with this, you're going to be a selling machine, dangerous. And so what you want to do is you want to, after you find a business owner who's willing to take leads, right? And the best way to do that is to call up these businesses, and, we don't want to sound like every other cold calling digital marketing agency that they're getting dozens of calls for each day already. We just want to call them up and just kind of play dumb. We just want to say, hey, I've been testing this Google algorithm, and I've been testing, and I'm getting a bunch of calls for your niche in your area, but I don't own a moving company in Victoria, Texas. Would you be interested if I sent over these, if I sent these calls to you? I don't have a business that does this. And, then you hear them out and kind of feel them out, see where they're at. Most people, if they're super interested, that's a really great sign. And then I like to follow it up with like, well, this is just an experiment. If I could really scale this up for you, would that be something you'd be interested in? Would you be interested in a long-term business relationship? If they're like, oh, no, then they're probably not the right kind of person for you, right? So we want to do some screening off the bat already, just to field out the people who are going to waste our time. And that's the best way to do it. So now you've been sending them leads for a week or two, and you're realizing the value, maybe a little bit longer in some cases, sometimes a little bit shorter, really depends, right? Or you have a new client on the line who you're not even sending leads to, and you want to do a deep dive with them into their business and figure out info you can use to help the sale. So you want to figure out what they want, what they've done to get there, what they've been doing to try to get there. And from there, you can make a conclusive decision if you're the right fit or not. If they want really unrealistic expectations, it's like, well, hey, no, like, I mean, I can get you X amount of leads a month, but what you're asking for is, it's just can't be done. So this will really come in later, and I'll show you how. We're going to be referring it back a lot through all these things. So when you're doing the deep dive with them, you want to listen to what they say that they want or what they need. This is so important, you guys, because it could be an ego thing for them. Like I want the first spot in Google. It could be just a straight up ego thing for them. And if you're trying to pitch them on AdWords at the end and how that'll bring them so many leads, like they might be like, yeah, sure, cool. Like, yeah, like revenue is interesting, but that's not what they want. So that's why I include this example here, because yeah, most of them, they will want revenue. They will want more customers. They will want more deals coming in. But you know, why do they want that? Why do they want what they want? And what's it going to feel like when they get there? Right? Why do you want to do this business? And what is your long-term goal, right? So what we're doing here is in this deep dive, we're actually figuring out all the information to handle their objections if and when the time comes that they will bring them up. So after they tell you exactly what they want, and you find out why they want that, now after sitting down with them and looking at different options and stuff, you want to reiterate exactly what they want back to them. Like, so, okay, what you're telling me is, you were in the first position for the past 4 years, and then, or you're 4 years ago, you're in the first position, and then somebody else beat you out, and now you want to be in the first position, right? Yes. And so you've tried X, Y, and Z, and those things haven't gotten you there, right? Right. Exactly. They're going to feel so heard and understood because you're reiterating exactly what they want back to them. You're showing them that you listen, and you're showing them that you do understand what they want. And the reason this is important is because if you do this correctly, the rebuttals will just melt away. The objections will melt away. Because what you're showing them is that they're currently in a position they don't want to be in. Hell is a scenario. And when you've looked at their stuff and you realize that you can help them, you realize you can get them to heaven. So you're the bridge between hell and heaven. When these rebuttals come up, they're going to be like, oh man, that's a huge cost. Well, what is it costing you to not be in the first position of Google right now? Asking them and shutting up and listen. Things like that. Or they'll say, I need to think about it. I'm going to go talk to my husband. Like, again, you haven't been in the first spot for 4 years. Over the past 4 years, you've tried X, Y, and Z, and you still haven't got the results that you're looking for. Show them they're not lining up with their true identity of who they want to be or the business they want to have, and that when they are giving objections, rebuttals, that they're just stepping back in that old paradigm. They're stepping back into fear instead of stepping forward into faith. When you call them on their shit like that, oftentimes they will end up thanking you for it afterwards. When you really know that you have the solution, and that just comes from confidence, and confidence is really just knowing how to do something and doing it well, you're going to be able to start closing the higher ticket deals. You're going to be able to start getting more clients coming in. Again, you guys, a lot of the lead gen stuff, it really is a matter of this simple formula. But when you're going for clients who you haven't provided value up front, et cetera, or just those, you're going for a little bit higher ticket, you want to use all of this in tandem with this. And just really call them out on their shit. And by figuring everything out up front, you'll know what that is. And you'll know what they want. And you're the bridge. So that's a lot of information right there. I'm going to go ahead and just do a quick pause. Does anyone have any questions? Please feel free to drop them in the chat box right here. Or go ahead and unmute and ask a question. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and keep moving forward. If any questions come up in the chat box, we'll come back to them. Okay. Some final notes on negotiations and sales. Two of the most powerful the most powerful negotiating position to be in is the ability to walk away. It absolutely, the ability to walk away from a deal, because the other person can't do anything if you're willing to walk away. They literally can't do anything. The other thing is those pauses after you're calling them on their shit, showing them that they're being out of alignment with what they want. It's calling them out on their shit and then just being quiet. Okay, great. So let's go ahead. Again, in most cases, it won't be that difficult, but we are getting into some pretty high level advanced stuff and you will be able to refer back to this later. Okay. So for the next part, when we're looking at motivation, success, intrinsic motivation, what makes people a quote unquote success, right? Success, really what it boils down to is it's constant improvement. You're constantly getting better. You're not quitting when failures happen. You're not quitting when you hit adversity. You just trudge through it, and you're building your overall value, and you're constantly getting better. So there's a really, really phenomenal book on this that I do highly recommend, which is The Slight Edge. And I'll jump into a quick diagram that goes over that more in just a moment. But there are intrinsic motivators and there's extrinsic motivators. And the difference between these is, the intrinsic motivation it boils down to your why. It's your why. It's that emotionally charged reason that you're doing all of this, right? We're not doing these businesses for no reason. Deep down, there is a huge why. And when you can resonate closely with your why, you're falling into intrinsic motivation more than the extrinsic. Extrinsic is more like, that fancy car, the fancy house. It's the external things, right? Which are great and they are nice. But when it comes to long-term success, you may not get the nice car as quickly as you want. Shit will happen. And there will be days that are more difficult than others. And being closely aligned with that, with your why, your real why, and just keep asking yourself, if you think you have your why, ask yourselves why 5 times more. Why do I want to do that? Well, this. Well, why? Because of this. Well, because of that. Well, why that? And just keep going. It's a really great exercise. And you'll start to boil down to, ultimately a lot of times it's our family. It's, we want a better life for ourselves. And why do we want that? Because we're worthy. We deserve it because, we have this shot at life and we're doing it. So, yes, getting deep into that. Before I jump into the next one, let's go ahead and take a look at some teachings from The Slight Edge, which are, you have a graph here, and then this is us, this is you, and we have here, this is time as time goes on. So what makes people really successful are simple disciplines over an extended period of time. Simple daily disciplines and practices that are practiced daily. And so this over here is our success. So I'm just going to quickly do success right there. So that's the word success. Let's just do an S for success. And so as time goes on, we'll have a 3-month mark, we'll have a 6-month mark, and then we'll have a 1-year mark, and then we'll have a 5-year mark, and we'll have a 10-year mark, right? Because This isn't a short-term game. So, you know, we start out in the middle, and we have two different directions we can go. We have the simple daily disciplines that we adhere to. And when we start following those, what we notice is we start generally moving up this path, and we have an upwards curve. And these simple things are like, building a lead gen site and talking to 3 new potential clients. Closing that massive deal. It's eating healthy, diet, exercise, waking up, or getting a full 8 hours of sleep, things like that, versus the undisciplined, when we're not monitoring our actions, when we're doing what we know are the wrong things, right? Like fast food, not calling that client, not building a lead gen site, et cetera, et cetera. Then what we're going to see is, again, that this is a 10-year scale, and this is the scale of success. Over here, this being 0, we go negative on the scale. Whereas up here, we're just exponentially getting better with these simple daily exercises and practices. And, keeping it really simple, having, 1 to 3 really big things that you get done each working day. Right. So, for instance, maybe one of my things is I need to get another GMB for that thing. I need to get a client on this site, or at least need to, get a client lined up, right, with my lead gen site. And then I need to start looking at new niches. Not doing tomorrow's work today, but doing today's work really well. Like not rushing through things. That's why it's like 1 to 3 things you could do. Maybe you're working part-time or full-time. Don't rush it. Don't overdo it. Because here's the thing. When a baby's learning to walk, it's 1 step in front of the other. It's 1 step. Keep falling. And before you know it, the kid's walking. It's a very similar thing. Because these 1 to 3 actions a day, 5 days a week, that's already 15 things you're doing for your business. Bigger things a week is 60 things a month. And before you know it, that's 720 positive actions made in your business a year at the 1-year mark right here, 720, right? And then multiply that by 5 here and multiply that by 10, 7,200 strides you've made towards your business in 10 years. Okay. So being super conscious of this, am I just those slight discipline, just am I moving up the scale or down the scale? Knowing that, because, then we can get in like downward spirals and there's just no good. We want to be moving in upward spirals of positivity. And that really, comes in checking our self-talk. What's your self-talk? What are the scripts that's running through your head? Right? What are you telling yourself? Like, I am worthy. I am enough. Like, I can do this. Or, if it's negative stuff, definitely flip the script on that BS. Don't give in to your own BS and check yourself. Here. Whoops. We will get into this in just a moment. Okay, great. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we've gone over intrinsic motivation, extrinsic motivation. We've gone over daily small disciplines, the actions moving our business forward. And thank you, Kelly. Yeah, great. Okay. And so masterminding with peers in JK. The power of the mastermind. Andrew Carnegie, tycoon, mogul, one of the wealthiest people in the past century, right? Along with JP Morgan, Napoleon Hill, their whole crew that they ran with, Napoleon Hill, namely, he's the one who spread the knowledge that made them so successful. The power of the mastermind. which, by the way, you guys, if you want to hear a really great book on this stuff, it's The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles is the fundamentals. You really can't get any better info than that. Anyways, yeah. So masterminding with peers in JK. A mastermind, what that is it's two or more people in a collaborative environment and masterminding towards something. Getting together with other peers, getting together with people who have similar goals, dreams, aspirations, and surrounding yourself with those people and having regular masterminds. This is what's going to help you. You know, we get in slumps and stuff, but when we have support groups and we see other people's success and other people, hey, I did this, try this in your business. I know this works. This is actually what I may not be here today talking to you guys right now with the success I've had if it wasn't for this point right here, because I sought help when I built my first 3 lead gen sites and, you know, they completely bombed and I just wanted to quit. I'm like, I spent all this time and money on those. And it's like, I did them in too competitive an area and they're just not working out. And I went back, talked to people who are in my support group and I just got, you know, they're like, hey, that's just part of it. Failure is part of the game. You know, like you're going to hit adversity, like, and just a little pep talk before, instead of quitting, what I did is I went out and made 3 more sites. The first site I made, it got me a $200 deal to build. It was a lead gen site, but the guy had me build a site for him. And then before I know it, I had a business owner who was paying me $1,500 a month, cash in pocket for about 3 years. And then, yeah. And he was paying me up till just last month. I had to cut him off though, because it was just, not the type of clients I'm trying to work with anymore. But anyway, that's a whole different story. You know, let's just stick with this for now. You know, I understand in the beginning, we will have to do some things we won't like to do. We will have to grind some stuff out. And that's okay, because, you know, a great goal is like, yeah, maybe I don't like doing this part of the business, but I know when I get my next client or 2 clients, or, you know, if I even partnering with somebody in the group to get it solved now, you can have things to look forward and eventually you really want to be sticking to the tasks you love to do. And this actually kind of goes in line with why I let this client go that I was just talking about, because, you know, he was just really small-minded. He wasn't willing to grow with me. And I know something better is going to enter my life. I'm making space for bigger, better clients. I understand, like, early on, every win we can get is a big win. So, yes, when you do have these wins, there's something called the power move, which I love the power move, because it's like you get a big win and it's like, yes, like you can just throw like a fist in the air, like, yes, like energized, charged. Motion creates emotion, and celebrating the small wins matters. Celebrating all wins. You know, setting realistic goals and achieving them. So I've been guilty of this before, setting way astronomical goals. Like, I'm going to get to 100,000 a month when I wasn't even at 10K a month. Just, we want to have goals that are achievable so that that you are able to achieve them, and instead of getting the wind knocked out of your sails. And just remember, guys, that success is constant improvement. Success is time, repetition, not giving up when adversity arises, because it does. And that's what makes us stronger, though, and ultimately makes us more valuable, because we learn all these new skills and valuable things from each experiment that we're doing, right? And with continued growth, before you know it, you will just become extremely valuable. You'll be able to charge very high prices. You'll be able to ultimately start to set up your business the way you want, et cetera, et cetera. Things just get so much better as you keep going along. So anyway, last but not least, super important. I know there's the plateaus and this and that. It's just, let's just not giving into our own BS, right? Flipping the script. That negative self-talk has got to go, and it's got to be replaced with empowering statements. It's so crucial to success. So we're going to dive deep into tactics now, guys. I'm going to go ahead and open this chat thing. And Think and Grow Rich is another great one. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles is where that book and that whole story, the movie, The Secret came from. So The Science of Getting Rich is like the root, like even pre Think and Grow Rich. I know Think and Grow Rich was by Napoleon Hill. Fantastic stuff. Absolutely. So, all right. Awesome, guys. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead. Let's look at some examples. We're going to change, be a little bit different vibe from this part. We're going to be doing a lot of tactics and ranking stuff to look at, what is a niche that's easy to rank for? What are some of the KPI, key performance indicators for a successful campaign? How do we not get penalties and so on? So to be very safe with new pages on websites, new websites in general, and new lead gen sites, we don't want to get penalties. I've seen a lot of people getting sandbox penalties, which is where basically it just slows down your ranking process. Instead of taking 6 weeks, it takes like 6 months, things like that. So the way to avoid that, and most all penalties, is you want to get the website published in the first week. You want to have it indexed in Google with some content on there. And then, you can publish the whole thing at one time, or you can go back, getting it indexed in Google is the key part. Because we want it to be indexed in Google for 7 full days, 1 week before we move on to the next part of the process. But we build and publish the website, all good there. In the next week, we have Google. You want to get your GMB, of course, for your address, because that will take like 5 days to send out. Sometimes you have to send it twice. It's weird. But yeah, and that'll get us ready for citations in week 3. Then also in week 2, we get our, Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, all the good stuff done that we can do in week 2. And then, of course, citations. Now with citations, say if you got 200 citations, you do want to drip them out at about 30 to 40 links or citations, they do have backlinks, per week. You just want to drip them out. We want a much more natural looking link velocity, but then also just the way the links are dripped out. We want it to look like a normal website in Google. See, what happens is most websites that get published, most websites in their first month, they're not getting any backlinks. They're just not. They don't know how to. They wouldn't even know where to start. So, and also, new websites are most highly scrutinized in their first month. And then also in the first 3 months, they're still under a microscope. So you just want to be careful. And, with most, when you get a press release, and I'm not saying you have to get them, but like when press comes out, let's say a news story comes out, right? What happens is they're not getting any links at first. Now this is time, and these are links, by the way. And the time will be variant depending on, like a news story it may start to pick up links because it's going to get, people are reaching out, like linking to it. They're like, oh, look at this story. Look what, this person did now. And then it's just going along. And then of course, eventually it's like, okay, well, people stop talking about it as much and it tapers off. We have this peak right here. But yeah, and for news stories, this might be like 30 seconds, but like for a press release, this might be like 1 week. And then like this would be 2 weeks. And then for your lead gen site, we're following this strategy here. We just want it to look really natural. What ends up happening is people come out the gate 0 right here. And they're like, first week, they're like 5 blog comments. The next week, they're like 5 more. And then like maybe they just don't even do it for a while. And then it's just so unnatural, you guys. And with Google, their algorithm constantly getting smarter, and where it's at now, it's just they know how to monitor and track these things. So we want to be super careful. And that's why influence, blog comments, any kind of link building other than citations, we want to save until the end of week 3 and more into week 4 and 5 onwards. And that, with the link velocity, that just basically means you want to have a certain velocity, right? Like we're going 1 week the first week, 1 link the first week, 2 the next week is fine, maybe even 1 the next week. It depends, because if we're going for really low hanging fruit, you really shouldn't need a lot, right? So maybe 1 the first, 2 the next, maybe 2 the next even, and then like 1 the following, maybe 1 the following, and then 0, right? Because you stop doing influence after a while. You don't have to like keep adding them to sites that are already ranked once you are ranked, unless you're in super competitive niches. Everything I'm saying with a caveat is with a caveat. Again, I'm going for the 3rd graders Dan talks about, to get you guys these quick, these big quick wins, where you're getting, high search, a lot of leads coming in, very low difficulty, easy to rank for though, so you can get some money coming in, some serious money coming in quick. Yeah, and as sites age, you can start to be more aggressive with the link velocity. So you can. We have some sites that are getting 100 links a month, so we're pointing 20, 25 influence links a week, and like injury attorney stuff, etc. And yeah, so just link velocity, trending sites build up and taper off. And even so, if you take on a client site, you want to follow a similar thing here. And yeah, okay, great. So let's go ahead now and let's look at some niches and some niche examples. I'm going to do both ends of the spectrum. I'm going to do like really great niches that you're looking for, everything you want to see, and then the opposite end of the spectrum, like stay away from niches that look similar to this. So I've already done a little bit of research, and so I typed in excuse me, Denver driving school here, and like we can see the competitor. By the way, this is exactly how I do research, so definitely pay attention to how this has all been done. I'll take a look at the competitors, right? So we can see this Excel person is in the top of the local box and the organic listings. So it only makes sense that Google likes what they're doing. They're getting a good spot, et cetera, et cetera. So immediately, this is Ahrefs, by the way, guys. It's a lot like Majestic. It's just more involved. It's more detailed, and you'll see why in just a few moments. So nothing to be afraid of. You'll understand this tool in the next 20 minutes, no problem. Right? So domain rank, I mean, it's just, how strong is the site. Most lead gen sites will get to about 10 to 20 for a reference point. So this is extremely low. And then like referring domains is like the number of backlinks, right? Because they're all only coming from these referring domains, which are probably 90% directory links. And then we could see their keywords that they're already ranking for. Hey, that's nice. What are the best keywords in the area? I want those. And then what if they were paying, this is kind of, if they were paying Google AdWords, how much would the traffic be worth? And it's about that. It's an estimate. It's another good way, like if your number's high, you can show them, be like, hey, like, you should be paying way more for this site. Anyways, we can see, a lot of directories. It looks like maybe a few potentially influence, but then also some ones we may even be able to get some links from, right? Here's the important part though, you guys. We're looking for high search volume and low keyword difficulty. And the low keyword difficulty, this is on a scale of 0 to 100. So it's anything under 20. Okay. And search volume is, of course, relevant. Like if this was driveway installations and this was like 50 would be a lot of driveway installations because those are 10 to 20K jobs a pop. And this is well under 20. So we're in a good range. And then this, of course, is the brand name. So we got Excel Driving. This is Excel Driving School. So we want to like stay away from the brand names. But we can see like right here, there's more than enough search volume and a lot of search volume, almost 1,000 searches right there, all with a very low KD. High search volume relative, right? Because driveway installations is going to be a lot less calls, way higher ticket. Low keyword difficulty, under 20. And another way to gauge the difficulty score, say you don't have this tool, you know, well, what you can do is you can look at the top 10 ranking websites for this keyword, right? So this is Driving School Denver, still the same keyword. We're just looking right here. These are the top 10 search results, or top 9 for some reason. And you can see that the top one is 21. We already looked. They're all freaking directory. 17, 23, and then like 0 and nothing otherwise. So yeah, I mean, generally extremely easy to rank for. Like 10 domain rank the highest, and they're the lowest ranking one. So yeah, a great, easy, low-hanging fruit niche here. I did. So, you know, there are like the more mainstream niches, like, you know, taxi, towing, plumber, electrician, like the main ones people think of first. And, you know, if a lot of people in JK are doing those, think about all the other people who know this local lead gen strategy who are doing them outside the group. And even think about the barrier to entry. It's not very difficult to like, I'm going to be a plumber. I'm going to do a plumbing business. Well, sure. I don't mean to discount like plumbing. It is pretty difficult. Anyway, what I'm getting at is there's like low barrier to entry. A lot of people are focused on those mainstream niches. So it's like with a little bit of thought and effort, it's like, what are some niches that are just a little bit outside the box that not a lot of people are focusing on, and that I could get into and probably start ranking really well. So again, Yellow Pages, again, we can come in here and we can like start getting some ideas. Like, what if I do like oil, like, you know, no, like water, things, you know, you can start to get ideas just by even typing the first letter. And you probably know things that other people don't. You might think of a really interesting niche. So I did just put these, you will get a copy of this again. And I did put these 3. I've seen the first 2 specifically to be generally pretty dang good. So, you know, to help get you off on the right foot. All right. So let's go ahead and look, let's move right into, well, what would we not want to? Oh, and last but not least, Google AdWords is the keyword planner right here is a great tool to come in here. I come in here and just put the location, and I can just double check like, okay, yeah, so this is another really great keyword and a place that I know has low competition and high search volume already. So yeah, and then I could just double check, like, you know, I could do Denver Driving School in here to make sure that the numbers kind of match. They should be similar. And you do this for any location, right? Okay. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll do local map pack stuff towards the end. But this is an example of a niche that like we would not want to go into. So again, we're going to get, this guy is right here in the top. So I'll just grab him as an example and come in here. And we can see already pretty dang competitive, a lot of referring domains. Excuse me. They've been around for a long time. And if we look at the keywords, you know, we're going to see, sure, there's a high search volume, right? But the keyword difficulty score is way over 20. It's not low-hanging fruit. It's sure it's doable, but it's way too much, way more input than the output. Whereas, you know, it took me 6 to 8 months to actually rank this one. I was making $300 a month, like this. And one of the next sites I built, like after my fail, and then like I was going to quit and then went to success part. The first site I built ranked in 6 weeks versus 6 to 8 months here, and was paying me $1,500 a month. Whereas this one, I only got to pay me like $300 a month for like a few months. It was just, so this is an example of what we, you know, you don't want to get into. And an example of the top websites for, the top 10 search results of just something where you can see it's much more competitive, right? A lot more backlinks going on here. Much higher domain ranks per capita, on average. Yeah. So now, once you get these low-hanging fruit niches and you found them, you found, something great you can do with your address is you can get one address like iPostal, UPS, or your residential address is fine, anything like that. And now you have your 5 low-hanging fruit money niches. You can use this one address for all 5 niches, all 5 websites, all 5 locations. You just simply go, you put the address, and then you add, even after there's a suite number, you just put B, and then for the next one, you'd put D, G, and so on and so forth. And that way you get all your 5 locations with, if they are in the same city, all with one address. You're really maximizing the use out of it. So, in JK, Dan teaches this 1,000 plus population to just get you on the high search volume. This is just one step further onto why that's important. And, when it comes to your on-site SEO, you guys, this is really, really important. And actually, I've already taken a look at this guy's website, and they did a phenomenal job of illustrating. They're ranked in Google, right? And we can see exactly why right here. For the main keywords you want to rank for, you really want to make sure that they're on the home page, right? Now, you may have like limo service on your home page, but do you have like limo service and then your city? Or like, pest control your city? Again, pest control, pool cleaning, those are seasonal type things. I like to stay with things that are more, I'm sure, year round. I'm going to go ahead and just check this really quick. Okay, I'm going to save this just for a moment. So, those year-round businesses are the year-round niches. You're not going to have these lulls and drops. So this is something to be conscious of. Now, each one of the keywords you want to rank for, you want to have on your homepage at least 2 times. Have the main keywords you want to rank for on the page exactly as they are at least 2 times. It's really that simple. To get this feature to come up, just press Control F on your screen, if you didn't know that. And you can see each keyword, the top keywords that they are ranking for and that they want to rank for are on the home page at least 2 times. You really only need each one on there 2 times because you'll get the overlap, right? Limo service, San Diego limo service. So you'll have your keyword on there enough times. And your main keyword, you do just want to have it in the H1 tag, which is like a header. And then you also want to have your main keyword in the meta, like that. So this website is just a great example of some just really stellar on-site SEO if you need something to refer back to. This Limo San Diego, they are kind of pushing it. Again, just 2 times, hard and fast rule. Jumping into the next thing. When it comes to your off-site SEO, for your influence, you want to use exact match anchor text for the keywords you want to rank for. So what does that mean? That's just a simple way of saying when you're like, hey, Ingrid, I need links to my website, use the same keywords that you want to rank for. You give them to Ingrid and you say, hey, I need, this website is obviously about gas inspection in Birmingham. So it's that exact match anchor text, right? We would do Limo San Diego or whatever the keyword is. Yeah. And you want to do that for your different keywords that you want to rank for here, right? Okay. And the reason we can be more aggressive with our exact match anchor text on these influence domains is because our citations, right? The yellow pages, links, and all that, they link back to our website with a naked URL or with like a website like this will come up as other in like anchor text and majestic, right? So that we're not spamming our exact match anchor text and picking up a hummingbird. I believe it's hummingbird penalty or it's the penguin. I can't remember exactly right now. But we just don't want to get penalties, right? So having an anchor text ratio that has like a lot of other like this, a lot of naked URL branded, because, you know, again, we have hundreds of citations and pillar links and stuff for every like 5 influence links, right? So it's going to be a nice lower ratio, which is what we're looking for. And if you're ever in doubt, just 80-20 it. If you, you know, you can do some other stuff, but 80% should be exact match. Pareto principle. If you don't know about that, Google that, please. It's so important. It's so amazing. You'll see it show up everywhere in life. It's unbelievable. Okay, guys. We've covered most of this stuff. I'm going to jump into some local map packs stuff now. Geo-targeting your images, okay? Super simple to do. So let's go back to our example here of these guys who just overall did a really good job of their SEO. First things first, you want to look at the category that everybody's ranking in the local box for. So you can see, you know, it's limousine service. Like this bus tours one, that's funny. That's actually the site I built. That's just up there because of preferences. So yeah, like limousine service. This is, I should do an incognito window because it's showing me stuff. And then this is an ad. So disregard. They have bus tour agency. That's probably why they're not ranking, because you want to be, you know, in the category. Okay. So get the category and then dripping the citations like we talked about in the very beginning of tactics section. And finally, last but not least, geo-targeting the image, which is so easy to do. So say we're doing our Denver one. Again, Denver driving school. We just put in the location, just gonna add an image, and then I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to want it to write the new geo tags, and then I'll just put, like, you know, my keyword in here, and boom, this is completely ready for you know, local map pack. I'm sorry, yeah, Google My Business, your Google My Business photos, and also the your website. Download it, boom. Another great tool is if you're searching in an area outside of your location, right? Because I'm not in Denver. When we're looking at Denver, it's all from the point of San Diego, where I'm located. So I can come in here, plug this in. You guys have resources to all these tools in your one page or your sheet of notes. And here we just click this, and it's going to show us what does page 1 look like from being in Denver. And we can see this is what's actually showing up for people searching in Denver. So we had Excel over there, but we can see, you know, Drive Safe is there. And we see the IP is using that. And then if you want to see page 2, so on and so forth, you just go back here into this tool and use that. So let me go ahead and close this out for now. And don't forget Google AdWords. Yellow Page is your best friend. And last but not least, Google AdWords, you know, a great way to get, it's so easy, you guys. They have a phone number in the back, so you can call them. They'll literally walk you through exactly how to set up your ads. And that with the PDF and the JK training is more than enough to get you started. Just let them know, hey, there's this great new feature. It's doing amazing results for your colleagues, and it's clicks to ad campaign. Get them started. Just let them know you're running an experiment. Just $500 to get it started. And that if they break even, that's a plus. Setting low expectations. And just let them know we're going to experiment for the next like 2 months, and then we can really get it dialed in because the ad optimizes over time, and they have a phone number in the back, so you can always call them and have them make it better. And then, of course, introduce your fee into the mix, so you're getting paid for it. Scale up, yeah, and then just scale up with them. So we're having a lot of comments, questions come in. I do want to open up for Q&A. So let's go ahead and let's just start from the top of these questions. The site is not indexed yet, but has 1 to 2. I would remove the links before it's indexed. I would remove the links and just wait. Personally, especially if it's not indexed in Google, I would just remove it and then just follow this this strategy that's highlighted in yellow and green right there. Also, if you have a residence GMB location, can you use the same address or add a suite number after you would? Yes, you may. Actually, absolutely. I've done this. I lived in a place without a suite number or stuff. I just put B after it. It's funny. Lived in a residential address. Yeah, so that'll work. How do you know when your site has been penalized? Great question, Erica. So this is a challenging one. So this is the easiest way to tell if your site's been penalized. When your website first indexes in Google, make a note of where it lands. If it lands on page 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, then you know that's without any SEO, right? As long as you didn't over-optimize. And be careful not to do the keywords too much on the homepage. I've seen some people have put like 118 times the same keyword on the homepage, and you don't want to over-optimize because then it's a whole different set of penalties. But basically, so if you link too quickly, you'll get sandboxed, and it's going to take you a longer time to rank. Just period. The way to know if you've been sandboxed or you picked up a penalty is, you want to look at, well, when I first built my site and I got indexed, it was on page 3. Now I did 5 blog comments in the first week and 10 the next week, and I'm on page 6. Right? I'm on page 6. And not only that, but like contact us pages, like LinkedIn pages are showing up before my homepage. Like, what's going on? That's a huge red flag. See, like, and another way is like looking at the pages that are ranking in front of you. It's like, this is super competitive. So like a new website would probably index at probably page 7 to 10. But like YouTube videos ranking before your website. Websites that don't even have, like San Antonio website, like doesn't even say San Diego in the H1 or the meta or anywhere. If these kind of sites are ranking before yours, it's a pretty good sign you've got some sort of a penalty. So I hope that helps give you some insight into that. 80% being exact match, yes. Is 500 the minimum for AdWords? No, I mean, if they're already paying you a lot and they're not afraid to spend more, definitely scale it up. It's a good like dip the toe in the water number. I've personally found. So what do you do when you request a postcard twice and it still hasn't shown up? Post office address with no other niche that address. Waited 14 days the first time and coming up on day 9 the second. Can you include? Well, yes. So hold on. First point, I would just send it again. 9 days is a long time. It usually only takes 3 to 5 days. Sometimes, here's a couple things I've noticed. 1, sometimes I don't know if Google doesn't get them out. 2, when we are adding like a B and a D and stuff, like I've noticed, I've never really had to send it more than twice. I would just send it again. If you're having the issue, I would call Google. I would call them up. Can you include influence before citations? Yes, you may. You may, definitely. 1 thing to be conscious, make sure your site has been indexed for 3 weeks at least, and you're in the end of the 3rd week. Really, you just want to, the end of the 3rd week, coming up on the end of the 1st month, influence, even if you don't have citations. Now, something to remember, exact match anchor text, we're relying on having naked URLs from citations. So just follow the 80-20 rule with that. Or just don't make like all of your backlinks like the same keyword. Like, because then it's just going to be really spammy and unnatural, kind of weird. Like very obvious you're trying to rank for that keyword. Okay. And so what's your preferred reporting tool for tracking reports that you can send to clients for updates regarding ranking keywords, and other progress factors. So Ahrefs is one of my favorite tools. It is my favorite tool. You can show them, you know, once you're doing SEO, you can show them how much traffic you're getting right here, how much you've gotten additional traffic for them. I show them that. Usually I'll also go into the keyword section and show them the bump in their keywords. Google Analytics, another really great tool, you guys, especially in tougher niches where what your focus is on is bringing more keywords onto the first page, not necessarily the first position, but more keywords onto the first page. In analytics, you can it'll show you the traffic going up. SERP Fox is a great tool to look at your actual ranking. Like, so if you guys can see just like really quickly on this header, this is from SERP Fox, right here when this loads. Right here, see this orange line going up? And so you can see these are the keywords in the back, and you can show they were down here, and you can show them at the top there. So those are 3 great reporting tools right there. Okay, guys, any last minute questions? Any final thoughts? If there are any questions, I'm just going to look back through this and make sure that everything was covered. Please don't be afraid to ask questions. We only get what we ask for, right? All right, so just so making sure there's enough businesses to send leads to, like in Yellow Pages when you're fielding businesses. That's a big one. The low keyword difficulty score, I mean, that alone with search is just, it's going to set you so far apart ahead. There's so many niches out here, you guys, that have 300 searches, 250 searches a month, and have a keyword difficulty of 0. Those are the third graders, the 6-week projects, where you're ranking in local and organic after 6 weeks. That's money. Okay, so the questions are pouring in. Please, okay. What's the best way to get your links on a daily chart? Let's say, what is your schedule process? Best way to get your links. I mean, I outsource all of my links to Influence. I've trained Ingrid and the other employees. We have a large team, like 11 employees, not including co-founders. They have been very well trained on the scheduling process. So, if you tell the Influence, one-click, like, best linking practices, they'll know exactly what to do. Just be super sure to let them know if it's a new website or not. What's the best way to get your links? I mean, that's the best way, honestly. They're like, you can look at competitors here. That's just outsourced. That's having more time to focus on revenue generating activities, right? I've never liked the going and getting blog comments and stuff, because it's just, I think about like the role of like the task you're doing. Like, what would the person who's doing your task be paid? Like, you want to be like, do you want to be like, and I understand everybody has to start somewhere. So I'm not picking at anybody, but, like building links like that, or, like sourcing that stuff. It's just, would that job be paid as much as, say, like the high level consultant, or the salesperson, right? But I mean, you can look at, the backlinks here, and you can see for once to take, if you wanted to take that strategy, the copycat method. What is the best way to get, yes, everybody, hey Dave, everybody will get a copy of the Google Notes. Can I use my post office address for more than one lead gen site? So, we want to be careful. No PO boxes and stuff, right? As long as it's a and a real address, then that should be fine. Do you geotag all of your GMB images? Can you geotag? So do you geotag all GMB images? Yes. You want them to all be relevant to that location. It's going to give you the extra leg up on the competition who actually did take those pictures in their location, etc. Can you geotag 360 images as well? That's a great question. I actually haven't tried that. Definitely give it a go. I don't believe it would remove the formatting, but I could be wrong. I think this may have been asked, but I need clarity. For home address, is number 3, unit 3, suite 3 enough? Or should I do 3A, 3B? Well, see, if you live in unit 3, you need to switch up each one so that it seems like a different business at a different location. And no matter how small the variant of the location is, it's just enough to trick Google, right? We don't want them to all be the location. Sure, they're dang similar, but you need to do the B at 3A. I would remove the dash in the middle just to make it clean, because some citations, directories, you know, they may not include that stuff, and we want it to be exact match. Should you also geotag images on the website? It really doesn't hurt to. Just geotag them from the get-go and then pop them on there. The thing with Weebly is I believe they used to remove all the formatting. So like you'd save an image as, you know, Denver driving school, and then you upload it, and then when you check the image though or download it later, it comes out as like image GM blah 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 blah. So what is the geotag tool? Yeah, so the geotag tool there, it's right there. John Reith just put the link, and then also you guys have it right here. All the resources except Ahrefs are in here. You know, there are group buys for this tool. I even use a group buy still. It's like $25 a month that way instead of the full $99 that it costs. So yeah, guys, we are about to wrap. Lightroom for Adobe does geotagging too. There you go. Yeah, so you definitely have some options. You guys, I just want to say I'm very happy for you. This is a lot of information. It's going to be sinking in for you over the rest of today, the rest of the weekend, into the next week. You're going to be able to come back to this video if you ever wanted to check out certain parts and get more clarity about. You'll have this quick access spreadsheet just to refer back to if you ever have doubts or anything. But I just want to congratulate you on going through this webinar series and taking that step forward to really growing your business. These are the things that have helped me. These are the things that have helped my friends and those who are just doing really well in the business. So with that, we're going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you guys so much for hopping on, and it was really my pleasure to be here. And yeah, you're absolutely very welcome, guys. Very, very welcome. Sweet. And definitely don't be afraid to ask me or Ingrid, definitely Ingrid, some questions here and there when you need help. I will do my best to get back to you guys. And